The Blue Jays are off to a hot start in the second half, but is it a sign of things to come? Hey everyone, welcome into another Sun Sports Roundtable. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Sports columnist Steve Simmons and Toronto Sun Blue Jays writer Rob Longley. And guys, a three-game sweep of the Arizona Diamondbacks to begin the second half is a pretty good way to start off the the second half part of the season, I should say. But Steve, do you think, based off what we saw, it is giving you a sense of what we could see the rest of the way, or is it just 3 games and still too small of a sample size?
I think there's a couple things happening here all at once, and one of them is that the American League East seems to be in flux. Tampa Bay, who was running away with the division, is no longer running away with the division. The New York Yankees, who were contending in the division, don't seem to be, much of a contender anymore. And so here are the Blue Jays starting to do the things that we thought they would do at a time when now the division looks like it could be winnable with this much time left, at a time when the Yankees are dropping out. And so there's lots of moving parts here that are away from the Jays at a time when the Jays are doing things that we wanted them to do all season long. And we saw it against the Diamondbacks. And that's a good sign, but it's a good sign with other good signs happening at exactly the same time.
I'm not so sure that a sweep of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who played basically like crap over 3 games and handed the Jays a bunch of runs, is a sign that the Jays are suddenly contenders for the division. Yankees are out of it anyway. Baltimore and Tampa are the teams that they have to chase down. What it might do, however, is it might finally create some momentum, something that this team has been looking for all season long, right? I mean, they've had modest win streaks only, it seems, and to start the unofficial second half of the season with a sweep at home against a team that they probably should beat may be the sign of the start of that momentum that they've been looking for quite some time now. But there's still some flaws in this team. In the middle game of that series, I mean, they only won 3-2. They couldn't seem to cash runners in scoring position yet again. By any measure, this offense is still underachieving. And for them to really go on a serious run in the second half, that has to improve at some point, and at some point soon. But momentum is a powerful thing in baseball, especially in a long season. And we've seen historically how this Blue Jays team, the last 2 years especially, does get on a serious run in the second half. And a good start for sure, but they've got to show it to me for longer than just a 3-game series against what is an overrated Diamondbacks team.
What I liked was the middle of the lineup guys who haven't necessarily been contributing a whole lot of anything were suddenly coming up with a key hit here or a key at bat there. And suddenly Danny Jansen is a hero in one game, and Espinal is a big hit in another game. And guys who haven't really been sort of part of the mainstream. And one of the things we pointed to all season long, is that the middle of this batting order from middle to bottom has been weak. And they haven't got a lot of production or performance out. And I thought they got more of that, Alejandro Kirk aside, on the weekend. And I like the fact that they were getting a little bit of this and a little bit of that from guys they haven't been getting much from. It's all been, what does Bo do today, or what did Vladdy do, if he did anything? And so now I like the fact that they've stretched the lineup. Now if Ross Atkins can go out and get one middle of the lineup bat between now and trade deadline, I think it's a pretty good team.
So, Rob, as we look at this team as currently constructed, they are pretty good. I mean, they are what they say they are as far as their record goes, 10-plus games over 500. But as Steve mentioned, with the trade deadline coming up here in the next 2 weeks, is the offense the biggest upgrade position in your opinion?
Yeah, I'll go with Steve on that, and I'll let him elaborate on it more when we're done here. But a middle of the lineup bat is something they could use right now, somebody who can cash in those runs, ideally a left-handed hitter. Dalton Varsho has underachieved at the plate all season, and they need somebody in the middle that they can put in that middle of the lineup and drive in runs. But to me, the real intriguing thing is, what does he do with the pitching situation, and specifically the starting position pitching situation? And that's something that has to really unfold over the next couple of weeks, because there's some question marks in that rotation right now. Is Kevin Gossman healthy enough? Is Hyunjin Ryu going to come back and be able to go right into that rotation? His rehab is certainly looking really good. Through 65 pitches for the Buffalo Bisons in AAA on the weekend. What about Yusei Kikuchi? Are we starting to lose some confidence in him after, sort of 3 or 4 subpar starts compared to what he had done earlier in the season? So I think as the trade deadline gets near, and Alec Manoah, that's the other one. Is he going to follow up his one good start in Detroit? Is he fixed because of one good start in Detroit, or do we have to see a little bit more from him? So I think the next turn and a half through the rotation tells Ross Atkins what he might need to do in the starting pitching department, and whether he has to address that at the trade deadline. There's certainly already some rumors percolating out there that the Jays are in that market. So, I think the bat to drive in runs, but also what are they going to do with that rotation, and we'll have a better idea of that in about 10 days or so.
Well, I think the most important thing to figure out right now is Gossman. Because Gossman is your ace. Gossman's your top of the rotation pitcher. And when he didn't go to the All-Star game and said, I want to spend time with my family. We all bought that story, right? Well, what a nice thing. He's spending time with the family. Comes back, can't make his start. Comes back, can't make his next start. Clearly, there was something going on prior to him not going to the All-Star game. So how long is he out? How long are they going to be without him at a time when we don't know what Manoah is? When we're hoping Ryu, who looks pretty good at AAA, can continue to advance. Now, you may not be able to pick up a pitcher in a trade that's better than Ryu if Ryu is healthy and back to form, or even close to form. And I think that's the interesting thing: is where is Gossman? Where is Manoah? Where is Ryu? This is where's Waldo with a whole bunch of guys, because they all have capabilities. I mean, if Gossman comes back and pitches like Gossman, and Manoah comes back and pitches like Manoah, and Ryu comes back and pitches like Ryu, well, who's going to have a better rotation than you add Berrios and Bassett into that? And you don't have to think about Kikuchi. That's a pretty good 5-man rotation at a time when most teams only have 3. So, I'm not sure they have to make a deal for a starting pitcher if Gossman is healthy, Manoah is capable, and Ryu can come back. But that's 3 big ifs right now. And we don't, as Rob points out, we won't know the answers to those questions for about 2 weeks, which, by the way, coincides with the trade deadline. So everything is happening. As Bob Cole would say in hockey, everything's happening at once. and that's what's happening here.
You make a great point on the Gossman thing, Steve. It's like next to impossible to believe anything that comes out of the Blue Jays' mouths when they give us updates. Like Kevin Gossman not going to the All-Star game because he wanted to spend time with his wife and kids. Meanwhile, he got hurt in his last start. I mean, he was obviously hurt going into the break because they admitted it afterwards. So to me, that is a big concern. If he's not right and they have to set him down for a couple of weeks or longer, that's a very big hole in the rotation. And I think that will very much dictate what they have to do over the next couple of weeks as the deadline approaches.
What's going to be interesting to watch at the same time is what does Baltimore do? What does Tampa do? Is Tampa now into playing at 3-7 in their last 10? Are they now just an ordinary team, or are they that great team we saw at the beginning of the year? The Orioles have been steady the whole way through, pretty much, and so the Orioles are a team the Jays have to catch. But there's so many moving parts here from so many different teams, and who's getting who, and where are they going, and all that. This is when you want to trust Blue Jays management, and you hope to trust Blue Jays management. I mean, historically, I don't know if we can trust Blue Jays management.
Yeah, we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks here. Plenty of intrigue. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. For Steve Simmons and Rob Longley, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time on another Sun Sports Roundtable.